This is not the morning after I buzzed off my hair with a zero guard. This is the afternoon after. So it's like been 30 hours or 28 hours or whatever, okay? Just to kind of keep you up, because I want to say this is just zero guard, but obviously every day, every hour that passes, there's going to be more color showing up on my head here. Okay, this video you're watching though is actually about this concept. I want to address and explore where is the real shame in balding. Okay, my immediate answer is there is no shame in going bald. The real shame, and here's the main two parts that are jumping out at me. Maybe there's more, maybe we can explore them, and maybe with what you say in the comment, we'll add to these two that are just obvious to me, which are largely connected. Here are the two actual ways that there is shame in being bald. Before I get to them, let's talk about what there's not shame in going bald. The fact that I'm going bald, therefore I should be made fun of because I'm less of a human being, I'm of less value, I'm less attractive to people because I'm bald. And I simply don't believe that. There's too many good looking bald guys who shave it off or whatever, and they're still very attractive men, and people don't judge men strictly in the way that they judge Ryan Seacrest, okay? There's different ways of being physically attractive and even just outright being attractive as a guy, which is one of the major themes of my channel. So I do not believe that there's shame in going bald. Too many men go bald for it to be a shameful thing. There's shame in people making fun of someone for going bald, okay? And that leads us to the first part of shame in going bald. And that is when you yourself feel ashamed of going bald, okay? And please let me separate, okay? There's no shame in a man losing his hair and going bald. There is shame though if the man is made fun of for going bald and he feels ashamed. That's where there's shame. The fact that someone said, hey, I've got some shame for you, catch, and he catches it. If you catch the shame, there's some of the shame in balding. If, on the other hand, if someone says, oh, hey, looks like you're going bald, catch, and you're like, nope, and you watch it go right by you, see, that is to be applauded because they wanted to try to tease you or make fun of you. But instead, and here's in reality what you do. They're like, oh man, now that you buzzed off all your hair, I can see where your hairline goes up. Man, how much longer do you got before you're completely bald? And then the immediate response is just kind of a jovial, passive type of thing. Yeah, I don't know, a couple more years probably. How about you? You know, just passing it off because it doesn't bother you. Because you shouldn't let other people control your emotions. Even when they look at something like this, it's something you can't control. That's why there's no shame in balding, but there is shame in the way that you handle it. So again, if someone says, hey, catch, I'm making fun of you for going balding, and you catch, that is you should be ashamed of yourself for being ashamed of that. Because you shouldn't feel ashamed over this. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous for anyone to make fun of someone for balding. It's equally ridiculous to accept that negative criticism and embrace it as reality. Okay? I always say, like my mom always said, consider the source, Nick, consider the source. When someone says something negative to you, it's always, always, always a reflection of that own person, the person who said it. It's a reflection of their own self-esteem and their own identity. A confident person like me is never going to put you down. I'm only going to build you up. That's what confident people do, is they build other people up and they help and they direct and they teach and they lead. That's what I do because I'm confident, okay? I do not negatively criticize people for the sake of a laugh. That's not something that's part of my identity. But people who do not have a healthy self-esteem, a healthy balanced self-esteem, they don't think the way that I do, okay? Instead, they want to, see, they feel subconsciously insecure. So, oh, that guy's bald. Let me make fun of him. It's almost like, oh, that lady's fat. Let me point out that. It's so pathetic. So if it's so pathetic, why are you buying into it? Why would you ever acknowledge that that should have any power over your day at all? Okay? So I'm submitting to you that if you allow someone to shame you for balding, then ultimately that is to be shamed for. And that is where I want to help get you away from, realizing that you control that decision to let that person shame you or not. It's just like being offended. You control whether that person offends you. You also control whether or not that person's comment about you going bald or having receded, whatever it is. You control how that affects you. And your immediate response, showing that you don't care, you laugh it off, or you play it up even more, that helps them realize, wow, that guy's pretty confident. And they realize in that moment, you're more confident than them. That's how you win. Okay? So you take something and you turn the tables on the person. Now there's no longer any shame in balding. There's shame on the fact that they tried to take a stab at you and it totally backfired. Not in that you insulted them back. The opposite of insulting them, you actually just showed that you're still confident. Let's run through that again too. Man, how old are you? 40? You're really looking bald. Well, actually, I mean, I'm almost 37, so I'm a couple years. But yeah, by the time I'm 40, I probably will be bald. Now, I don't honestly believe that, but that would be my response, because there is no fun for that person once they hear that. I said that there's two ways for there to be shame in going bald. Here's the other one, and I think it is largely connected to the first one. But the second way that there is shame in going bald is when a man is in denial. If you're in denial, there's definitely shame in that. And I think we can see that with Prince William, right? He and I are only not even a year apart, okay? So he's 35, I'm 36, right? And so for so long, he's had this kind of like, you could tell that it was going here, and it just looked like he was in denial. And then finally he buzzed it off, but not enough for it to really be a full commitment. So people latch onto that, and it's not that, oh, this is so pathetic that this prince is balding. Instead, it's that this prince hasn't owned up to the fact that he really doesn't have enough hair to do anything with, so he might as well truly just get rid of it all. And that didn't happen, or it was too late happening, and suddenly that is to be made fun of. It's known that people make fun of him. His brother makes fun of him. People make fun of the Prince William for going bald, because he hasn't embraced it quick enough. It still bothers him, and you can tell that. He hasn't fully embraced the baldness. See, there's shame in that. I'm using that as an example because we all can recognize it. Okay? Just like I can recognize a man of any age having a comb over, having that flap. There's a such thing as a bad comb over, right? Well, there's some that aren't even bad yet. But the fact that you're trying to somehow make that work when there's just not quite enough there, the fact that it's noticeable, that is shameful, because again, it still shows that you haven't come to terms with it. Okay? So, in closing, there is no shame in you going bald, but there is shame in how you handle it. Okay? You get to decide, okay, I'm going bald. When someone says something about it, I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm actually going to agree with them and take it up another step. Wow, is your hairline receding? Yeah, I'll probably be bald in a couple of years. Look at you though, you're lucky. It looks like you're gonna have like a Ronald Reagan hairline. You'll be like in your 80s and still have full hair. Lucky you, man, you won the lottery. And see, there's no insult in that. It's completely, I'm owning it. I'm even kind of complimenting them back. That's not fun for that person because they're insecure, not you. Okay, so you win that in the way you handle it, just like that. And then the other thing is, if you're losing your hair, you find the best way to own it, make it part of your identity, and that's who you are now. But when you try to deny it, especially when people can see that, that is where there's shame in going bald. Now, these major two things are the things that pop out to me. But surely there could be more. Are there any other ways that there truly is shame in being bald? Remember, balding, there's no shame in that. But there is shame in this sense of denial of it. If you accept the shame that people throw at you, because it's arbitrary and artificial, but if you accept it, then you lose if you catch the hot potato. Okay, and then also if you try to hide this or deny it, and people catch you doing it, then that's shameful. Okay, that's my theory on the true shame in hair loss. There's the illusion of it, but then there's the actual thing, and there's absolutely a difference. What do you think in the comments right there?